Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, coming at you this week with...
Hey, it's License Hench, everyone.
Yeah, wow, your head got really big. That was... Yeah, look at all that. I might have to make an adjustment or two, though I can't quite figure out why they're coming in so dark. But anyway, we are here, and, boy, we're here, we're doing stuff, get used to it. But we are going to make just a quick adjustment here. Quick adjustment. There
Hi, kids.
real quick.
So, I've stayed at home this week, mostly staying out of the heat, while you did something else.
Oh my god, yeah, it's been so hot. But we're going to be talking about that in just a few. Wow, only one person is watching, so nobody is seeing like all of our technical errors. That's kind of awesome. I'm going to do some checking on the sound here. Yes, that's freaking great. Go ahead and talk to the crowd for a minute.
Okay. Well, this weekend, mostly I stayed indoors and avoided the worst of the heat. It's one of those few times where having to work on a Sunday was actually a good thing, because at work, I work in a basement that is air-conditioned, so I figured that was 4 hours of beating the heat and not melting. And then we got a party coming up next week, so I spent a lot of time working on stuff for that, and trying very hard not to do things until after 4 o'clock when things started to cool down a little bit, though. But last night was a little weird. I guess last night is when the heat wave actually rolled in, because I got home, it was really nice all day. Got home, it was okay. Got up at around 8 o'clock, and it got hotter. Like crazy hot. So, I think that's when the high pressure front rolled in. So I'm anticipating the next couple days being pretty miserable. Once again, Southern California, we're not used to having, heat like that, because we usually have pretty good weather.
Yeah, it's true. The heat that came in, it was a very special. Hey, look at us! I'm still coming in really bright, but what can I do? Yeah, it's actually it's a pretty special kind of heat that we're doing now. Boy, because I looked up and I'm sitting up going, wait a minute. This is Southern California. We can do 100 and something. That's cool. That's a thing. But the other thing that we can't do is freaking humidity. Oh my god, it's been so humid. I'm like, when did we get to Texas? But you know what? I spent last week, and I mean that, I spent all of last week complaining about the heat and all that stuff. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that today, because there is way too much stuff on the docket. But what did you get up to while I was gone? Like, in detail.
All right. Well, I blew up my laser engraver.
Blew it up?
Yeah. Basically, what happened was it was running really good, and then I burned out a motor. No big deal. They're $12. Ordered a replacement. Got it next day. Amazon Prime. So slammed the new motor in. But apparently, when that motor smoked, it damaged the power supply, because motor started running fine again. Then one of the other motors stopped working. Turns out it was a bad motor driver. Again, I had ordered spares, because those go bad all the time. And then got everything tuned, everything working, and then all of a sudden the laser stopped firing. And I messed with that for about 2 days until I finally troubleshooted it down to a bad flyback transformer in the laser power supply. So I decided to go ahead and replace the power supply rather than replace this transformer, because the power supply it came with was a little lightweight. So I got a new laser power supply, and I got a secondary power supply just to drive the motors. So, because I was reading on the forums that people said that the offloading the motor to a separate power supply will take the load off of the laser power supply. So I'm in the process of wiring that up right now, but I'm going slow because I don't want to fry anything. So I'm taking my time and double and triple checking, but I really want to get it up and running in the next day or two because I want to make a bunch of stuff for our party this weekend.
It's this weekend.
It's this weekend.
Oh, jeez.
And I could fire that. I can. The stuff I want to do is real simple. I just want to make some little coasters. I could crank them out in about an hour, but I have to have the machine working.
Okay.
If I had known the machine was going to die an annoying death, I could have cranked that stuff out like days in advance, and I probably should have in retrospect. But I was playing around with other materials, and yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from on that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm sitting up here, and for those of first off, now that I've got my radio announcer voice going, I'm, feeling very NPR. But I want to say, hey guys, how's it going? And I want to reach out to the people watching the show saying, hey, thanks for watching the show. Do the thing for those of you guys that listen to this on SoundCloud after post. Yeah, we do the live thing, but we do all that stuff so that you guys can listen, everybody else can watch. So I'm starting to sound like those kinds of podcasters I don't like. So what I'm going to say is, thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for holding the fort down, my henchmen.
Mm-hmm.
My very, very, you are my number one henchman. So thanks for holding down the fort. And hello, chat. Oh, it says my sound is really muffled today. Is it just my sound, or is that his too?
How do I sound, people? Am I coming in loud and clear, or is it both of us?
Well, yeah, should be going. But hey, yeah, one of the people in the chat's like, your sound is sounding really muffled. And well, I totally understand. I totally get that. We just reassembled the studio again, so the next show or two is going to be a little meh, because we don't know, what it sounds like as we live stream.
Yeah, that's always the problem with a live thing is you can't do it.
We can if we say do this external sound thing and then put on headphones and listen. Oh, just mine. Oh, see, you're loud and clear.
Okay.
I'm all muffled.
How's that?
I don't know, but I'm working on it. Yeah, he's loud and clear, but you're not. Okay, so over the course of the show, I'm going to be making some more adjustments and things like that. But now that I've got all the excuses and crap out of the way, I am so physically hungover, although I didn't drink it all this weekend.
Yeah.
Because, drinking ain't my thing. But insomnia, that's a different story. Oh my God. It was so, what's the term? I'm not sure. Actually, you got, talk to the audience for a bit. I'm going to make one more little adjustment because I see something on the monitor here and on the feed as it's happening. Yeah, that's going to be a little thing. I'll be right back, guys. We're still putting everything back together.
Okay. Alrighty, well, what to talk about? Well, first off, a little bit of apology to everyone out there. When I was watching my latest installment of Lost in Space, I realized I had mentally merged episodes 6 and 7 in last week's recap. So I actually jumped ahead and recapped stuff that was in this episode. So, yeah, I don't know what happened there. That's the problem about binging ahead of time and then recapping. I probably would have been better off if I had come in blind and only watched the episode fresh right before coming and get a little more.
You're supposed to watch an episode a week, whether or not you've seen it.
Yeah. Well, no, because I rewatched the episode this morning, and that's when I'm like, oh crap. Well, because this episode's called Pressure, and it's about the pressure in the fuel tank, the pressure people are under, the pressure of the planet is under, the pressure Dr. Smith's mind is under, and everything cracks.
Heavy,
yeah, and in this episode, everything cracks. They were definitely going for a metaphor.
Okay, all right, that's definitely a thing.
And so again, the writer and the director did have fun with the each episode having kind of like a little theme and going with it. So always makes me remember my film analysis class days, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I could totally write a paper on just like each episode in depth and how it like hits the themes and how a name is the relevant to each episode's theme. But yeah, that's where you find out that the people you don't like, you really don't like them after this episode. This is the episode where everyone just kind of shows their true colors and things go bad.
But you know what? I'm going to be nice to you this week.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh wow, that's even worse. Hang on. I need to. Alright, yeah, more that way.
Do you need me to do something?
Actually, yeah. If you could, I need you to pan the camera the other way. Yeah, look at that.
A little more?
Oh, yeah, that's, stop.
There we go.
Okay.
I felt the tripod shift. I think that's what had happened before.
Okay, yeah. And you didn't tell me? No tripod shifting. Okay. So, now that we're back, we're bad. I'm black. He's mad. Again, I'm back to thanking people. Thanks, Spiderweb, for helping us through our technical difficulties. And thank you guys that are watching us and ghosting and not talking in the chat. Although, you can talk in the chat. Hang out, talk with the people. I am heavy with a band hammer on the trolls. But we got started a little late today. But I'm going to give you a break on the Lost in Space thing because today we are going to be recapping what happened at the madhouse that was San Diego Comic-Con.
It's a madhouse!
It's
a madhouse!
Madness! Oh my god. For those of you guys, oh god, I'm still really quiet. Fine. How's that? Okay, yeah. How's that? Yeah. This year at San Diego Comic-Con, it was craziness. I did some live casting out there, and I was trying my best to figure out what platform. Do I live cast on YouTube? Do I live cast on Facebook or Instagram Live? Or this 21st century thing is just drowning me. It's just drowning. If only there was a way to broadcast on all of them at once. There probably is. Somebody's going to leave a comment in the argument section. But yeah, the Comic-Con experience this year was just crazy. Just crazy. Now, understand this is my first time back in 10 years.
Oh yeah, so you haven't seen, it's blown up over the last decade. And as you mentioned in the previous episode, it's eaten most of San Diego and become a force unto itself. So yeah, coming back after a 10-year hiatus, that's going to be a little bit of a culture shock. I mean, just when you see the line for Hall H, it's like the line for like a Star Wars core movie. You look out and it's like, wow, why are those people down the block and around the corner? That's for the Hall H. Hall H isn't that big. You got 1,000 people queuing up for 6 to 12 hours to see the latest Doctor Who footage release.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but I'm not going to queue up in record heat suns in San Diego, in my cosplay, very slowly melting into my outfit, to see that. At that point I'd be like, nah, I'm going to go wander the vendor floor and then catch it on my phone. 10 minutes after they're done.
Oh dear God. Yeah.
On a related note, in Long Beach we're going to be having the Halloween Con. Why did the name just fell out of my head? It's not Scare LA. That's the other one. It's.
Are you sure it's not Scare LA?
No, Scare. It's not Scare LA. No, it's not Monster Palooza, and it's not Scare LA. It's something Scream. Halloween Scream.
Yeah. That would be not Scream Fest, but yeah, the Stickman was talking about it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm a little tired, so the word I'm thinking of is fallen out of my head. It'll come back to me because I've been talking about it nonstop for the last week with off camera. But because I'm thinking about going, we got our big party this weekend, but I'm thinking about going anyway. But after seeing you at con and the craziness down there, I went, oh, they have this thing called the Bat Pass, which is for a little bit more, you can get the VIP ticket that lets you jump the lines. And I'm like, seeing those crowds. Now, granted, it's a much smaller con. It's kind of not going to be Comic-Con crazy. But I'm sitting there going, might be worth a few extra bucks to not stand in line for 2 hours. Especially if I'm only going to go for one day because of the party situation. So,
Yeah. No, I mean.
yeah, like that. That photo right there. You put that up on the screen there. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, this is the line to Comic-Con outside. This is the outside line. And for those of you
Thank God they had cover. Those people, yeah.
Yeah, they put it up there. And here's the thing. That line, that was at 6:30 in the morning.
Yikes.
Yeah.
When did they open the doors?
Huh?
When did they open the doors?
9:30. And here's the thing. That line had only increased 2%. Yeah, let's look at that again. Yeah, down here, under these tents, if I had a better shot, this was one of the pictures that they have up on the website. I did a video. I just can't find it. I couldn't find it because I'm physically hungover because I'm just so exhausted. But
Yeah.
I owe it to you guys out there in the YouTubing line.
Yeah.
To,
I refer to that as the LARP hangover.
Yeah, exactly. But this was so much bigger. But yeah, if I could zoom in, I would show you that in this crowd,
Mm-hmm.
those are sleeping bags. People sleep in that line every night.
Yeesh.
Yeah, they sleep in the bag.
Yeah, I'm not that dedicated.
Well, we're going to be posting stuff up on the SoundCloud and on the website proper after I get everything updated. Because 3-4 o'clock in the morning, I was in that line interviewing people.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first night, the line looked just like that, and it was all for the Doctor Who premiere in Hall H.
Yeah.
So, I was interviewing people from like 2 a.m. until like 5:30 a.m.
Crazy.
And I'm like, you guys are up, you're doing this, like, I like dedication, but these people remind me of how BA I'm really not. I am officially just old.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm just like, wow, you got. But then I see like 60-something-year-olds in line.
Yeah.
Just doing their thing. I got some interviews with some really nice people,
Mm-hmm.
and those are going up. Yeah, there was some other stuff. Now, I was there to handle some family stuff, which was family stuff in San Diego. So I'm like, yeah, I got family stuff to take care of, which is always emotional because when he's dealing with family, not. Right?
Yeah.
And while I'm there, I may as well do some stuff for the Deckers. So, yeah, it was, interviewing people in line for those that can't go, because this is expensive. Oh my God, the price gouging that goes on in that city, it's criminal.
Yeah.
It should be against.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. I mean,
oh my God, there's in one of the hotels next door to the convention center, they have a Starbucks and like a froyo place, which was kind of cool. But the Starbucks they made up to look like Jurassic Park and all that jazz. So it was like, look, check it out, Jurassic World. And there was no sitting. It was take your line, get in here, get the hell out, get your coffee, get out, get out, get out. Because the lines, I've heard Anime Expo called LineCon.
yeah.
I gotta say, San Diego could be called that, but they've got this down to a science. They really do. I mean, there's no way you can talk about being in line for days and days and days on end in a pleasant manner.
Yeah.
There are people, but I've seen lines handled in terrible, terrible, terrible ways. And I wanted to get footage of people moving for when they opened a door to something because, oh my God, so many stampedes.
Mm-hmm.
So many, no, I gotta get through the door before they, because everybody's afraid that they're going to be that cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, okay, fine, hang on, yeah. People are like, attachment is blowing out. So I'm trying, guys. I'm trying hard. Okay, that is. Yeah. All right. Hopefully, I'm gonna do a little something here. Okay, so I should be able to hear some stuff too.
Wubba wubba wubba.
So yeah. Okay. All right.
And wow, am really loud compared to you.
Yeah, you are.
Is your battery dead?
I might have to change the battery. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna try and change the battery to this microphone. So.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, you're talking.
okay. So, wow. Well, we already talked about my Lost in Space screw up, and we're not going to be doing
Well, talk to us about,
the
like,
cage.
some line experiences that you had.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you my horrible line story.
You got Scare Lake coming up.
We did Monsterpalooza up in the Pasadena Convention Center about 3 or 4 months ago. It happens 2 or 3 times a year, and we decided at the last minute to go. It was a, hey, do you want to go up this weekend? I was like, yeah, I think I'll go up and check it out. And so I went online to go buy tickets, and they were sold out. You have to buy tickets at the door. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. Okay. So we get there day of the event, and we'd already decided that it was going to be a mellow day. We were going to show up because Monsterpalooza is mostly just vendor space. We were going to try to see Elvira. She had a panel, and then hit the dealer room and do a few other things. So we really didn't have an agenda, and we were really going on a schedule. So we got up there a little later than door opening because we were going at a leisurely pace, and the line is stretched around the block. And we're like, okay, well, this is crazy. We've come to this before and never had a line quite like that. Now, they have monster characters who work the line. And one of the monster characters is like, you all should have pre-purchased your tickets so you wouldn't have to wait in line. And we're like, we tried. You guys, it's sold out. And the line was completely around the block. There was probably about 400 to 600 people in line, and the line wasn't moving. It took us 2.5 hours to get to the box office. Now, the joy of it was no one was behind us in line. Like maybe there were 25 to 50 people behind us. So we were at the end of the line, and the line got shorter, never really got any longer because we showed up kind of late to the game. Because we showed up like 2 hours after the gate had opened. So we figured the line would have been dissipated by then.
You keep talking, I'm just going to ask
yeah.
Can you hear me though? Can you hear me now?
And so we get up there, and we find out the reason why. They have 3 ticket takers for the entire thing, and 2 of them are cash only.
Cash only?
Cash only. And I'm like looking at this, and I'm going, who is running this con? The line was so bad that someone actually passed out from heat stroke, and the paramedics had to come and take them away.
That happens a lot.
And people were running across the street to the ATM and coming back. I watched people do this for about an hour. I didn't figure out later until that they were like getting into one of the cash only lines. But they had a total of 3 cashiers for, I'm guessing, around 1,000 people. And only one of them was taking plastic. Now, when I saw that, I would have been like, you know what? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. No, I take it back. I think only one of them, my mistake. One of them was cash only. But I looked at that and I'm like, whoever is in charge of guest services at that con dropped the ball, because when they saw that line of 2,000 people, they should have got out, grabbed a couple of the leftover vendor tables, because they have plenty of tables, set them up and given people like a couple of cash boxes and said, we're going to open up 10 cash only lines, and then have someone walk down the line and pull people out who had cash. So, because like I said, everyone was running across the street to go to the ATM. They could have cut that wait time in half if they had been a little more proactive and a little more intelligent. Or not cut off pre-ticket sales. Because it's not like it was pre-ticket sales were a discounted price. I was full price tickets. They just closed out the system. And it wasn't like I waited till the day before. This was like 5 or 6 days before. So whoever was handling that really dropped the ball. And we were and the what had happened was we got to the point where we could see the ticket booth, and we were like, you know what? We're just sticking in this line out of spite at this point. And but we had decided we were willing to bail about halfway through. But the only reason why we kind of stuck around was we were looking at all the cosplayers wandering around and having a good time just chatting.
I'm betting. Now, hang on just a sec. I'm going to talk.
Okay.
I'm talking. I see what you guys mean now. Well, you're coming in fine.
Yeah. How about you now? Well, it looks like you should be balanced now, just if I'm looking at that meter right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're a
I'm
lot louder now.
too.
Yeah, you're a lot louder now.
Well, sort of. I'm trying to find the right spot.
So, but it was a good con. I had fun once we got inside. Got to see lots of cool stuff. Got to talk to lots of cool people. And we missed Elvira's panel because we were stuck outside the line. But we're like, okay, whatever. And then when we go to leave, we sit down and get outside in the hall just to take a break and drink some water. And we look over and we are 5 feet away from Cassandra's autograph table. And it's so late in the day, there's only about 10 people in line. So we decided, you know what, let's do it. Hopped in line, bought her book, got an autograph signature, got her to autograph one of my CNC carved hearts.
Okay.
So I was very happy, and on the whole, had a really good time.
That's cool.
I'm always from now on. I'm always pre-purchasing my tickets for that well in advance. I never want to go through that will call line again.
Yeah. No, honestly. Well, let's see. I'm also checking. I replaced the batteries in this thing. Jeez, now it's just... Okay, guys, I'm not gonna have perfect sound today. Damn.
Now it's too loud.
Spend the whole time of our show, fixing everything. Again, I'm trying to. Let
You're too loud?
know that, huh? Well, it's like, oh wait, now that's it. Oh, is this a silent movie? Oh wait, now now it's distorted. Now it's this. Now it's that. Guys, come on, give me just a break. Jeez, just a little bit of break. I'm still putting everything back together. Jeez. Yeah, falling. Yeah, fading in and out sounds like a bad connection. It might. I don't know. Right, I tried changing the batteries and stuff. Sorry, I can't be perfect, okay?
Here, try this. Pull the fader on your mic down all the way. Grab the pan knob, crank it back and forth a couple of times. The one channel, yeah. Grab the pan knob, crank it back and forth all the way a couple of times, and then re-zero it. Now go up to the that gain knob at the very top channel. Do the same thing. Remember where you had it, and then crank it back and forth 3 or 4 times, and then put it back. The reason why I'm having him do that, ladies and gentlemen, is he has an old Mackie board which has potentiometers, and sometimes those potentiometers get a little corroded and dusty, and you start getting that crackle, and where the audio will kind of fade out and then pop back in, and then it'll also out like that. So and that's usually a dirty fader. Now what you're supposed to do is take the board apart, pull out the fader, scrub it down
With acetone, preferably.
lubricate it and put it all back together, and that is a very long and tedious process. So if you're lazy, you just crank it and hope that you scrape off enough with the enough oxidation and residue that it works fine again. At work, we have a old Yamaha board, which is from the early 80s, which at the time was like a $10,000 board because it has about 200 potentiometers in it. And unfortunately, being 40 years old, it's starting to get a little crackly, but I do not have the wherewithal to pull that whole thing apart and spend a week cotton swabbing every single one of those potentiometers.
Yeah, and that's, can you hear me now? How's that? How is all that? Seriously. Still working on this, still trying to get, still trying to get all this stuff handled, but again, it's, oh, God.
So,
Stars and stones. Yeah, keep going.
yeah. So, I picked up a airbrush setup from Harbor Freight I was amazed at how cheap that was. Whoa, chair! Hello there, Mr. Chair. Um, so I got an inexpensive airbrush, one of those, the ones with a little metal cup that loads from the side, and one that has the bottle and it feeds from the bottom, and then an automotive one. And it's Harbor Freight, so it was on sale, and I had a coupon, so I wound up spending like $30 for these things. I'm not expecting the world out of them, but I've already fired them up, and I gotta say, it's actually airbrush. You can do some pretty cool things without like knowing what you're doing.
I would say that myself.
What I want to try to do is replace spray cans, because I use a lot of spray paint when I make signs and stuff, and if I could switch to airbrush, I'd be able, because I have bad luck with spray paint, with spray cans with the nozzles clogging, and I always seem to have the can that winds up either way too much coming out initially, or then it clogs up about halfway through. And I know I do the thing where you turn it over and you clear it, and I actually save nozzles from other cans, so when they do clog up, I can swap them. But yeah, so I'm thinking about switching over to airbrush, but I want to look into the automotive paints, because I still want to be able to use enamels and not acrylics, because they're waterproof. Thank you.
Well, hang on. All right.
Any better?
Looks like I'm back.
And he's back.
Alright, looks like I'm back. Now, sorry guys, and really sorry for the guys on SoundCloud, and guess what? This today is as good as it's gonna get. I'm sorry, okay? And if you guys let me continue on with the show, you'll see why. But yeah, so I had taken off on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I left on Tuesday, packed up the whole studio on the back of the motorcycle, except for the soundboard and the computers. I took the small thing, the small setup through the laptop and all that stuff. And I'll be damned if I did not need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used none of it. I just got stuck with my cell phone. Like, dude, this is crazy. Like my iPad, my iPad doesn't actually have a data plan on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was doing everything in like really guerrilla filmmaking, like shaky stuff. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll get a live cast of this. Look at the floor. Hey guys that can't afford to be there. And just trying to really give a few people the experience of being there, especially trying to navigate that sea of faces.
Yeah.
Because oh my God, like the convention itself is on a big hall. The convention hall, the convention center, is huge. It is huge. I clocked it.
It's an indoor cave, is what it is.
Yeah, and I was on the phone with my girlfriend yesterday morning, and I was parked at the hotel on one side of the convention center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I had to walk to the other end, or to the hotel on the other end.
That's like 6 blocks, isn't it?
Convention center. No, that's 6 blocks here in Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
In San Diego, it was 15 minutes on the phone.
Wow, that's a bit of a walk.
Hmm? Oh, you think? Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah, because I'm used to the Anaheim Convention Center, which is big but not cavernous.
Yeah, no, this was crazy. Okay, this was seriously crazy. Like that was, and I'm gonna say this: anybody going to San Diego, especially people that are concerned about their health and their weight, I dare you to take your Fitbit. I dare you.
Clock how many miles you walked in a weekend?
Those things were gonna be busting in the flames. Okay, seriously. Because there was so much walking. I mean, there was so much to do. Because those dudes, the people who put on San Diego Comic-Con, they said, well, you know what? This is good, but how can we get the city to help?
Mm-hmm.
How can we get in with the right people at the right time? And so they ended up making these experiences. And I will tell you, these things, now I didn't have a chance to do the experiences myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I was there with DW.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I saw that one video you posted with him with the weird name thing.
Hmm? Oh, my name is not Negan.
I didn't get the reference.
You don't watch The Walking Dead.
Oh.
Yeah. Negan is very much
Yeah, I'm only up to. I watched Walking up to about season 2.5.
yeah, and I know it's like an abusive boyfriend, so you gotta get in and out, you know? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I saw.
Sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's not.
I saw a College Humor did a little bit about reconnecting with your fandom, and it's a woman who's there with Star Wars, and they're basically going through fandom counseling.
Yeah.
And then a little bit when they leave is like his next client comes in as a guy with Rick and Morty, and he's like, "Oh, this is going to take some time. Clear the rest of my appointments." And he turns over just before the camera fades. So this is an abusive relationship.
Yeah, it really is, because you're watching it, and as you're watching it, you're like, okay, well, this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a thing that I'm watching, and sure enough, then it just starts to get boring, and then you want to walk away, but then people start talking about how great it is, you know, and it's like, well, you know, I really didn't like it, but they're in that same relationship with you, so they're like, no, you just got to give it a better chance. If you knew the show like I knew the show, you would really, really like. I mean, yes, season 2 had its hard times, but it gets really good. It's just it was going through a hard time, you know. Its mom was sick, and it was, you know,
Yeah.
just excuse after excuse.
And then I hear rumors that there's going to be a new Venture Brothers coming out eventually.
Didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's not true. But what they did was when there were like 3 Walking Dead type things, and I'm just like, they were at different parts. One was inside the convention, one was across the street, one was down the street at a different restaurant.
Wow. Okay. So there were 3 different Walking Dead experiences.
Well, The Walking Dead.
I guess the
has
zombies are
3
easies.
aspects. You know, there's the TV show, the comic, and the video games,
Yeah.
and they each had their own experience. And like, if you take a look here,
Mm-hmm.
you've got the Jack Ryan experience that DW went in. We'll talk about that on Thursday. Where you're going in and you're like, yeah, I'm Jack Ryan. Look at me. Brr, brr, brr. I can do all the action things. And they had one for DC Comics that had like the Suicide Squad. Not quite escape room, but it was an escape room in Arkham.
Oh, nice.
And one for South Park. And the biggest one, the one that most people saw, or not the biggest, but the brightest, was the one for The Good Place. Because that was right next to us in the street. So they had like these big jumbotron screens showing behind the scenes documentaries on The Good Place. And then around the corner, there was another set of Comic-Con stuff where they were showing off the freaking Hawk and Dove, or not Hawk and Dove, Cloak and Dagger stuff.
And this is in the city, right?
This is all in the Gaslamp district of San Diego.
Yeah. So these are just things. And now, are you paying to go into them, or are they
This all
extra?
comes with the badge
Oh, so the con literally has.
taken over
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah, because I figure, well, you know, they're just cashing in on the tourist dollars. But if your badge gets you into the experiences for free, and so it's like, yeah, we ran out of space at the convention center, so we're set up a mile away, and you know those things take months to plan and weeks.
Millions.
Yeah, and weeks to set up. So that is some crazy
Yeah.
effort.
It was some serious crazy.
How much is a Comic-Con ticket?
I'm not sure. I think they're a couple of $100, but I will say that the couple of $100 spent on the Comic-Con ticket is well worth the price.
Well, yeah, because if you're talking about where half the city is convention-related stuff that you get into free with the badge, that's a pretty damn good value. Because the ticket price alone probably would barely cover the experience things that they set up, let alone the actual convention.
Yeah, it is.
So-
It's some crazy talk, man.
Yeah.
When I say crazy talk, I mean just that. It was crazy. Because the stuff that they were doing there, I mean, I keep dropping stuff. I'm letting you guys know I feel terrible today, but I'm here for you because I promised you 4 o'clock every Monday we're going to be doing this stuff. So just bear with me. Hey, look at that! I'm getting readings, so I must be getting here. But yeah, so those were the experiences. They had one for Castle Rock, the Stephen King show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking Castle Rock, Jack Ryan, Walking Dead, Good Place, DC Comics, or DC Cinematic Universe, and The Purge. There was a Purge outlet store that looked like Party City on the outside. And it was collect everything you need to have a good purge this weekend.
Oh my God, that is horrifying.
Yeah, well, it's getting its short-run TV show in USA.
Oh,
So,
joy.
you know, that was one of the things.
I'm wondering. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out because I, as I talked before, I just the Purge just makes me angry.
But you haven't watched it. I know the idea of the purge
Yes.
makes you angry, but I'm saying spend the time to watch the show or to watch.
Well, I
the
realize
movie.
the Purge, especially the original one, is political satire, and it's supposed to make you angry. And I'll only enjoy it if the artist and director, it's like, yes, you should be angry, and now we're going to enjoy the ride of being angry through the movie.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Yeah.
it is, and it's
Like-
not just enjoy the ride of being angry, but the biggest thing about the purge is forget it works. You know, forget everything you know about the first movie. The biggest thing about it is that we are not far from that world. And it shows, hey, we might just be 5 years away from this. It is that kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And I still haven't seen Independence Day, but you know, Purge, the first Purge, which is 4th of July, like 2 years from now. So I don't know how it got started, but you know, it's a thing. But yeah, but I wasn't really there for all the experiences and all that stuff. I did Comic-Con. You all right? You all right?
Sorry, I zoned out there for a
Yeah,
second.
You were miles away, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting up, I'm talking to him, and he's just like,
Well, I was replaying all the Purge trailers on my head,
ah,
so
okay, well, that makes sense.
specifically, I was rehearing the announcement of, attention, the Purge is now effect. All laws within the boundaries of the United States are now suspended for the next 24 hours.
12.
12 hours? So it's 12
12
hours.
Yeah, you get 7 at night until 7 in the morning. So,
So what did you do for the Purge? I lied on my taxes. Of course, once the Purge was over, I had to tell him I lied on my taxes, but I did it during the Purge.
but yeah, so you know, I was impressed with how much. The thing that I know you would have loved
Mm-hmm.
was that people got invited to go to dinner at Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Yes, Taco Bell.
In the future, all restaurants are Taco Bell.
Well, they were.
I'm assuming it's a Demolition Man reference.
That is correct. They were.
Awesome.
Yes, it was.
That was not a pretty. Demolition Man is one of those guilty pleasure movies for me, in that I enjoyed it, but not because it was good.
No, I understand. I completely understand. But yeah, they ended up. I forgot what. Dell. Dell was the company that did it.
Okay.
And yeah. So Dell, for the video game parts that they were doing,
Mm-hmm.
they bought out. They bought one of the Taco Bells on 5th Street, and they totally Demolition Manned it out. And and the line to get in. This was one of the meals, one of the actual orders at Taco Bell. You know, and yeah, of course it was. They were giving out the token violations that you could actually swear into. Now, I didn't go. Yeah, I didn't go to the Taco Bell display myself because I was there for people.
Yeah.
And I know you can stand in line and get to meet people, but I wanted to hit the floor. That was one of the
Mhm.
big things I wanted to do. I hit the floor and I hit the streets so that I can talk to people. If you guys just go to the BidP channel, you'll be able to see the live streams that I was doing from the convention floors and interviewing like independent comic creators and people of color. And we got some good stuff, really good stuff. And I mean that. We got really, really nice things. One of the things that we did that was amazing was like I said, I'm a big fan of talking to people, okay? And cosplayers especially.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh yeah, I love
because
talking to cosplayers.
cosplayers of color are a really it's a real thing. And you know, back in my day, I was always the black this, the black that. So I went to talk to people who cosplayed the stuff that they liked, and I came across this family outside of Comic Con. We got Storm Mom, Deadpool, and Captain America as the kids, and Dad is like, I'm Dad Man.
Dad man.
Yeah, I'm Dad Man. I
Bandolier.
this whole thing.
Bandolier water bottles.
Yeah, I fund this whole thing. I take care of that, and I'm really a big fan of that kind of thing. And there were some great costumes, really great costumes, really nice people. Yeah, really nice people. One of the things I made absolutely clear to do was to look for the people that actually are deckers. You know, I was talking to women and LGBT and people of color. And I was on the street and I ran into Arthur Curry, Aquaman, and Oliver Queen. You know, and I stopped them. Now I know it's like, oh yeah, great, yeah, I know why you stopped them. Oh yeah, I know what you stopped them. And I'm like, no, I didn't stop them. The thing that first drew me to these two was right there.
Yep.
Boom. Okay.
Boxing glove, arrow.
Boxing glove, arrow. That is, I stopped them and I'm like, holy crap, it's Arthur and Oliver. And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, no, I know you're Arthur Curry. Yeah, you're a redhead, but whatever. That's just the person wearing the costume. But no, you are Arthur Curry because Mira don't wear orange. Seriously, she don't wear the gold upper. She is all green. She has the crown. I'm like, you are fucking Arthur. And she's like, thank you so much. So many people. I'm like, no, I get it because the years that I put on the S, it was like, hey, it's Black Superman. If I did it today, it would be, hey, it's Calzon. I'm like, no, I'm Clark. I'm Clark. So no, I get it. You are Arthur. And I looked over at her friend, the little one over here, and I'm like, and you are Oliver. I know. What's going on, Ollie? How's Dinah? And she's like, oh my God, you really do get it. I'm like, none of the other archers had the damn boxing glove.
Yeah.
That was Oliver, period. Not Connor, not Roy, not the girl who took over the mantle for a hot minute, not Arrowette, not Artemis. Only Oliver had the punching bag or the
boxing glove.
Arrow.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, it was boom, that's what it was. And they were so happy to talk to somebody who understood, but this was such a year of diversity. Okay, serious diversity. I attended so many panels on why diversity matters, and because of the Black Panther, people of color were coming out in droves. Not just black people. Like we had more Pacific Islanders represented, and they are looking nuts. They are so happy about Aquaman coming out because of Jason Momoa, and they're pretty much they're really following through with Aquaman's brown deal with it. And I ran into another family, and you might think that this is cosplay specifically from the Merchant tribe in Black Panther. Okay, but no, that's just what the lady was wearing. That was
we called
her.
it. That's Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. That literally was Tuesday, and I'm like, oh my God, you're amazing. I took a picture, and but what I gotta say is my favorite picture, my entire favorite picture from the entirety of Comic-Con. My favorite one was this lady right here, who's Elena Martell, and her mom or her daughter wanted her to go to Comic-Con and made her a costume. And sorry, you guys on SoundCloud, I'm showing a bunch of pictures, but I'll probably like post up the ones I'm showing in the description, or at least links to them in the description. And but this lady right here was like 85 to 90 years old, no exaggeration. And her daughter had made her the Olenna Tyrell, or Queen of Thorns, outfit, and made her wheelchair the Iron Throne.
Nice.
And I'm just like, that is why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
That is the reason I'm on the convention floor. I'm standing in these lines. I am battling Gamer Funk with a bottle of Febreze in my left hand and a deodorant sword in the other. Because
Oh, great! Now I'm picturing that cosplay. Going out there like a right guard shield and a speed stick sword.
Dude, yeah.
That would get some play.
Yeah, it's I am here to fight against Nerd Funk, you know. But the one costume I didn't get because my phone was just out of batteries was a guy who made a Zentai outfit of the Maryland flag. Now, the Maryland flag breaks all the rules of flagging. That's just what it does. Like, if you look up flags, guys, there's a whole lot of things that you can and can't do. And Maryland said, man, this is going to be ours. Kind of like Nepal. I love Nepal because they don't have a flag. They have two pennants stacked on top of each other. Yeah, I'm that much of a nerd. But I'm like, wait, so you're a Maryland man? And this guy's like, yeah. And I'm like, what's your story? And he's like, I just thought, I'm like, okay, follow me. You're Maryland man. And you go to places that are large gatherings. But you're really looking for your arch enemy, Florida man. And you're there to keep people from having a bad time and because of Florida man. So if he throws an alligator into a Taco Bell, you'll be there to stop it. If he decides to if he decides to shove a rocket up someone's butt and lights it, Maryland man will be there to stop it. But if Florida man gets too strong, Maryland man has 12 other friends, and together they are the Colonials. And and they were just on the ground, and one of the guys was like, tell me you're a writer. I'm like, I'm a wash-up writer, but I'm like, if you're gonna own it, just kind of do the whole thing. And yeah, it was a really fun moment. This was outside of a hotel.
Maryland man, strong as the state of Maryland man.
Yeah, I'm serious, man. But one of the biggest things on that is I should have gave him the sidekick of Baltimore Boy.
A good alliteration there.
Just be like, yes, and with his friend Baltimore Boy. Don't call me boy, motherfucker. Okay, Baltimore man. Baltimore man, the guy in the middle, because Baltimore, Maryland had the big gang and drug problem. Like, that's where the wire was set. So it's like, I'm Maryland man. And I'm Baltimore boy. I will shoot you in the face. You call me boy one more time. So yeah. But I know people. I had a great time talking with the people that were out there. It was amazing. Got a little bit of swag that I'll be showing on Table Talk this week with DW, because he knows a lot of the people that were pointing me to places. And one of the things that came up though was let's face it, Hall H, let's go to Hall H. Go to Hall H. And I'm like, yeah, you have fun with that.
Let's all go to Hall H. Let's all go to Hall H.
Yeah, but what did you think about the cosplays there?
What do you mean? I love cosplayers. I mean, whenever I go to a convention, for me, honestly, 90% of it is just seeing cosplay, talking to people about the costumes. How long did it take? What did you use? What was your inspirations? I do that at BlizzCon all the time, and then what I would do is later on we'd go back and watch the cosplay on a remote screen somewhere, and I would just be giving running commentary on each person. I was like, oh yeah, I talked to them, and this was the first time they ever made a costume, or this time they used this material or that material, and that was just kind of my kind of the thing I'm really into. And now it's even more so, because you could talk to cosplayers and it's all about 3D printers. And one cosplayer I talked to, they had like 6 3D printers going to make their costumes, and yeah. So and Comic-Con is just complete overload, because you have not just one genre to draw from. So I mean, And then you get into the mashups, and the mashups I always feel out of water because if something like Comic-Con where they're tapping on properties or other things that I may not be all that familiar with, so and then they start doing the mashups, I'm like I'm out. I need them to explain it, because I wouldn't know that the woman in steampunk, the steampunk female Joker character was actually a legitimate comic book character, Joker's daughter. I'd be like, oh, well, where did you get this costume from? It's Joker's daughter. Oh, I don't know who that is. Sorry.
So, all right. So I got a thing. Yeah. So, again, we're kind of running out of time. Sorry about. Well, you know what? We're gonna run a little later today. If
Okay.
we've got the time, because the technical difficulties and all that stuff. Let's really do the talking that I wanted to do today. So with Hall H, going to Hall H, I don't really deal with those panels because, in all honesty, it's all up on YouTube.
Yeah.
4 seconds after, because you can't stop bootleggers. Cannot stop bootleggers. But what I want to do is just a little bit of discussion on trailer reactions.
Okay.
We're only going to do 2 today. I mean,
All right.
there were lots. Actually, you know what? We're going to do 3 today.
Okay.
3 trailer reactions, and we're going to watch those live. Yeah, we're going to do some live trailer reacting because
I did my part because I haven't seen these trailers before, so you'll be getting a honest reaction.
exactly. So
Okay.
what we're going to do is how can I put this? There are 2 trailers that have come out from the company that people just will not stop making fun of. But this year was Warner Brothers' year. This year they're going, hey, come see our stuff in the movies. Okay, please. We all know everybody loves Marvel, but you know what?
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get better, so get off our asses. Okay? And so, seriously, they had a big presence this year. Since Marvel was like, yep, we did Infinity War, so y'all can go on and fight for number 2. I'm gonna be over here taking a break. Although, last part on cosplayers, I didn't get their pictures because, again, my phone was literally dead. I met them because my phone died and my charger and dice bag had been stolen. Or at least I thought it was stolen. Someone picked it up and put it into the lost and found.
Oh, at least you got it back.
Yeah, that was kind of big. Because I was freaking out for a few seconds. And, but I met a couple of kids. I'm calling them kids. One is a freaking biochemist, and the other one is in grad school, so they're kids to us because, we're old and crotchety and, all sinus headachy. But they were dressed as the oily thing and the teenage brother from Over the Garden Wall.
Oh, did you start singing potatoes and molasses at them?
No, I thought about it.
Potatoes
and
and molasses.
And the song makes no damn sense. No, but I walked up to him. I'm like, hey, I just want you to know, I recognize your costume. And I am emotionally traumatized. And the dude that was dressed as the main character with the pointy hat, he's like, isn't it so good though? And I'm like, yes, I liked it despite myself. So in case they're listening and watching out there, because I told them what we do for about the representation and the way that we talk about things on all of our shows and the charity work, and they're like, dude, I'm all over that. And I'm like, so I want to welcome 2 new deckers because those that couple was amazing, and they were so freaking nice. And I'm just like, yeah, that was. I'm like, oh, it's Garden of Stone, and he was like, dude. And I told him what you found out because I told him the story about you telling me and about you showing me this thing to pay me back for not being broken for Exterminator City. But yeah, and I'm like, okay, I study a lot of mythology and all this stuff because it comes from being an occultist. And they brought up the episode with the skeletons, and I'm like, yeah, here's the thing. Potter's Field was a thing from the revolutionary, or it was from one of the earlier wars, and it's essentially an unmarked mass grave in the middle of somewhere. So when they were going to Potter's Fieldington or
Pottersville.
yeah, Pottersville,
Yeah.
and in the field, I'm like, this is not good. They need to run. And he looked back on it, and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh my God. So they just gave it away. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, and
Yeah, I felt bad because I didn't pick up on that
Yeah.
until he was digging, and then I was like, "Oh," because you picked up on it right away,
Well, I know
and I'm
Potter's
like,
Field.
"Yeah, I do too," but I didn't make the connection at the time, and later on I felt bad because I was like, "Damn, I missed that. I didn't catch that so quick," and you picked it up right away.
yeah, and
You did the thing of, "Nope, this is bad."
well, it comes from black culture where it's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I'm good. And we talked about like the whole show, and he's like, it needs another season. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It ended in the perfect place. Sure, the little kid met God, and the dude like got his girlfriend and all that stuff. But still, I'm just kind of like, that was a messed up adventure, and I didn't quite get that over the garden wall meant a garden of stone, and which again is a reference to a cemetery.
Yep.
So we talked about that for a while, and I'm like, it like a David Lynch film or a Brian De Palma film merits multiple viewings.
Yes.
And I told him a little bit
And,
about
and the best way to view it, is to have someone watch it with you for the first time, so you can kind of watch their reactions, because the first time you watch it and you can see them going through that same bizarre emotional process that you went through, which is the first episode of, I don't know what I just watched, and the second episode of, okay, so there's just something creepy going on, and the third episode, they're hooked. I need closure. We can't stop now. I'm in for the.
it's good.
Not that it's good.
I've already
Yeah. You need closure. Like there's something going on here, and I need to find out what the deal is. And then you find out the deal, and you're like, wow.
I think my term was no.
I still say that the payoff at the end is worth it. It doesn't get too weird. It doesn't leave you hanging. It wraps everything up and it explains everything.
It was the definition of bittersweet. It's
Yeah.
true. But I explained to them that they spoiled every episode in the opening credits if you speak the language of film.
Yeah.
And so they're going back to watch it. They should be binge watching it like as we're recording.
Yeah, because everyone, I tell you, after you watch it for the first time, go back and watch the first 5 minutes of the first episode.
And it says everything that's there, and I'm like, oh my God, that was messed up.
Well,
But
it was like Sixth Sense in that it tells you everything's there invisible. You just don't see it.
what you don't know to look.
Yeah, because you don't have context.
But that was so. I wanted to give a shout out to those two.
Yeah.
They were amazing, and they talked me through a really hard day. But we know what people really want to know about, which is what did they show in Hall Age, and what is the crap we get to make fun of for the next year. So I'm gonna just open it up. I'm just opening it up.
Okay. Let's watch this.
Because Warner Brothers released 3 trailers
All
this
right.
year.
What's the first trailer?
The first trailer is the one that everybody's been laughing about both of our entire lives. So we gonna get this out of the way, okay?
Okay.
My father was my housekeeper. My mother was a queen. But life is a way of bringing people together.
Could unite our worlds one day.
Check it out. Arthur is talking to the fish.
Yeah, see, I love that right there. They're like, what the yeah, like, yeah, people.
They made me what I am. Permission to come aboard?
I've been looking for you.
Now, see, when I first saw that, when I first saw that part of the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
that whole permission to come aboard, I was reminded of a LARP I did with you, where I walked into that place where I wasn't supposed to on the moon,
Uh-huh.
and the 2 guards were like, guys, because, that's what they got that look.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, look at these guys. They're like, yeah, dude just came in from. Okay.
Yeah, we're under that non-possible guy.
Yeah.
Just punched through the airlock at 3 fathoms, not wearing a suit.
And they're like, is this in our pay grade?
Yeah. The funny thing is that quick aside, we've had moments like that as gamers in our tabletop games where the GM will throw a scene at that. He'll have like the badass NPC show up and you're supposed to fight him, and we're like, no, we're good.
No,
Can I get you a sandwich?
Yeah.
And the GM's like, you were supposed to fight that guy. No.
Yeah, no, we're good. How much do I get paid? 10 grand a week? How much would my medical bills be?
That was the one of the best GMing moments I ever had. Was I had a person. I'm running a scene, and a friend of Stickman was hanging out, waiting to go out. He wasn't part of the game. He was just sitting in the living room, like waiting for the scene to resolve. And I said, "Hey, would you mind playing a security guard for me in the scene?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I can do that." So
Okay.
he's playing a security guard. One of the players drops down out of the ceiling, and he's using his powers to make himself invisible. So I describe it to him. He goes, well, the ceiling grate falls into the room, and something drops in the room you can't see. It's like the Predator. There's like a shimmer. You know something's there, but you can't tell what it is. What do you do? And he goes, I take my lunch break. I don't get paid to deal with this. I leave. I'm like, that is the most genuine security guard response I've ever seen. Because I don't know if you ever played Shadowrun, where you're trying to you break into a Band-Aid repository, and there's 5 security guards who will fight to the death to protect $5 worth of Band-Aids.
Right. So it really is one of those things where,
So
they're
those two guys,
"Oh."
I'm like, my response, please tell me that they say, sure, you're welcome to come aboard.
No, they can't.
They can't.
They can't do that.
But I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go get the captain. You want to stay here? Can I get you coffee?
Yeah, exactly. So let's get back to this.
Oh! He hit him with a ceiling.
Yes.
I've been looking for you. Your half-brother, King Orm, is about to declare war upon the surface world. The only way to stop this war is for you to take your rightful place as king.
Trust me, I am no king.
You do your best thinking when you're not thinking at all.
That was the worst pep talk.
I almost dropped dead.
Right. Yeah. Right.
It's the
I'm-
worst pep talk.
I'm a little weird on it though, because I'm getting a real Marvel, like, okay, we're gonna quip, we're gonna do a lot more quips, but so far I'm having a little bit of a problem with this, but we'll get into it after
Okay.
after we get done with the trailer. So.
Welcome home.
My brother has come for the service. Challenge me for the throne. I call it an ass whooping. I'm a leader. I came because I had no choice. I came to save my home and the people that I love.
You think you're unworthy to lead because you're of 2 different worlds. That is exactly why you are worthy.
Submariner,
No, Ocean Master
Ocean Master.
or Black Manta, rather.
I'm bringing the wrath of the 7 seas with me.
Here.
What are you doing?
Should have a parachute.
Redheads, you got a level.
Coach is like, what the hell is wrong with these people?
Yeah. So there we go. There we have the Aquaman trailer.
Hey, I love the fact that they made him. He doesn't swim very fast. He flies in water.
Yes.
And they even gave him the Superman thing of no, he's flying that sub to the surface. He's not lifting it. So when he's in water, he is a demigod,
Yeah.
basically, and
and
he
that's-
has that's his element and that's his power. And most of the world is covered by ocean, so don't mess with the guy.
Yeah, exactly. And there are a couple of things on that, like the Ocean Master thing. This movie looks a lot like they're doing the Throne of Atlantis story arc from the New 52. Or actually, no, they're doing the Throne of Atlantis from Rebirth, which is cool. I like the Rebirth Aquaman. I like him a lot. And But a couple of things, like there are, again, great moment in the trailer where you got like, ha ha, there's Arthur talking to fish, ah ha 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 ha. Let's just, and how can I put this? Yeah, people doing the, he's talking to fish, isn't it stupid, isn't it crazy, all that jazz. But the big thing on that is like, it only seemed like a dumb superpower. Oh my god, look, you talk to fish. But you know what?
They showed you that it's not a dumb...
shark is a fish too.
Yeah.
And them kids are like, yeah, look at I mean, again, that's a great, a great WTF moment, with the kids, because they're like, haha, he's talking to fish.
Let it play out. Let it play out one more second. Let it play out a couple more seconds.
Yeah.
The scene that they really show what that scene means. Let it roll.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, those kids right there, they're like, oh, well, because he talks to fish, and then the freaking great white shark comes in and cracks the tank, and they're like, oh crap, I didn't remember a shark was a fish.
Yeah.
That's that's not a cool thing. But again, and it's, hey buddy, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I don't like them either. They look tasty,
Right there, that scene where you see, it's like, oh, talking to fish, Lane Power, and then you have that scene where he's like, no, that is not a Lane Power. That is, every single one of those fish are at his command.
Exactly, because it's like, oh no, I talk to fish, blah, 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 blah. Really? Yeah, look at that. Now, because the internet is the internet, there's going to be so many freaking Finding Nemo memes on that, so I'm just saying it, like, out there. Because, again, all right, yeah, I can see in the back, like, hey, look, there's an angelfish. There's a clownfish. Yeah. But, again, I've always loved Aquaman because, it's a cool thing. He's got a power that seems lame, don't get me wrong, but I stay my black butt out of the ocean because I am afraid of what's in it. I really am. I'm like, all of that. Yeah.
I was gonna say Aquaman was always lame to me because I was only exposed to Aquaman through the Super Friends cartoon, and Aquaman's power on Super Friends was to be able to body surf, and then using his power to communicate with fish, and then like a fish does something lame, and you're like,
Hi, Aquaman.
Yeah, they went that way, and you're like, well, his power is kind of lame and unitasking, but that's because we only saw him in the badly animated kids TV show. Years later, when I saw Aquaman in Justice League, when he shows up, cuts his own arm off to save his infant son. Later on, like lays waste to all the superheroes so he can show up at the UN and says, "Hey, knock it off," and then leaves. I'm like, wow, he's a badass.
He really is,
and I was like suddenly liking him because I hadn't really seen him in the comic material. I hadn't seen what he could do. I think you were the one who told me. It's like, no, who do you think keeps Cthulhu from like eating the world? Him and Dr. Fate, like once a year. Etrigan, yeah. They go and do that thing together, and I'm like, okay, so he's the guy who keeps Cthulhu down. All right, yeah, don't mess with that dude.
Thank you. Yeah, and they did a lot of stuff. James Wan is a big Aquaman fan, but he knows, oh my God, I've got a big hurdle to jump. A really big hurdle to jump because of the whole talk to fish, blah blah blah. And people say I like Submariner, and I'm like, dude, Submariner is okay. He does do the head is heavy, or
heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yes,
yeah,
the crown being heavy. He's, but at the end of the day, he's a dick. He's an arrogant, condescending, sexist, misogynist, racist jerk all the way at the end, who's trying to take another man's wife. Seriously, he's like, Sue Storm, you should be my queen, blah blah blah. Oh really? Yeah, you've got a freaking harem and you're not happy until you take this man's wife. Screw you, Submariner, I'm not a big fan. And then you got Aquaman, who's the boy who would be king. He's really always been based on King Arthur.
I was gonna say, they got the Arthurian legend, which is always a classic.
Yeah,
people
it
get
works. It works all the way. But what I like here is Atlantis.
Oh yeah, I hope they're going to learn from they're going to learn from the recent properties of this. A lot of this movie better. We should see Atlantis. Atlantis looks cool. Let's go there.
Yeah. That whole yeah. Let's look at Asgard. Yeah. All right. Now let's go back to New Mexico. It's like what? Huh?
Yeah, we had Asgard. Let's spend some time there.
But in Black Panther, they did it
Yeah.
right. So let's hope James Wan went. No, Atlantis is awesome. And
Well, it looks like just from the bits from the trailer, I mean, at least a quarter of the movie is going to take place there because he has to fight his brother for the throne, and I assume he's going to win because
well,
you know.
if it's like the comic book,
Hmm.
okay, his brother is amassing the army, and Aquaman literally has to take the throne and claim his place as the king. Yes, it is not an original story. Okay, it is not remotely an original story. But again,
If they do it well,
I mean, but look at these look at the character design here. It's just like, yeah, we're mermaids. You know, I took a look
love
at this,
that
the
armor.
First thing that popped into my head was freaking Death Clock. You know, just mermaider, mermaider.
the fishes, they don't have any good medals to be listening to.
And you know, that is the Aquaman that they're giving us. They're
Yeah.
giving us the Aquaman who listens to metal and drinks out of bottles and is like, I'm not that guy. But you know, I do have a couple of problems with this trailer. I'm not gonna lie. You know, the red and blue sepia tones. Black Manta looks great. He looks really great. I'm happy about that. You know, we've got Black Manta coming in as a mercenary here, and this guy, he is awesome because he's human. He's a tech dude.
Hmm.
You know, he is. Yeah, this is technology, and he is literally a pirate with a submarine.
Nice.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
You know, but being as hydrophobic as I am, like, I'm looking at this as a horror movie. That's everything that's in this. I'm like, nope, I'm
Nope.
good, nope. But again, I got a couple of problems. One of the things that I see that I'm not liking
Hmm.
is the way that people deliver lines, as they are saying, you believe that you are, because you did not grow up here, that you will not be a good leader. But that is the reason that you are a good leader.
Worst pep talk ever.
You know, I'm serious. And you only think well when you are not thinking. And you know what it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of Jaden Smith and Jaden Smith and what was it? After Earth? You know, I like it, but I don't know what it means. That is what I'm doing. I am talking because I am from Atlantis. I like trains and swimming. You know, I mean, that's really
Yeah.
what I got. And that seems to be like the delivery of a lot of younger actors. I say younger like in their 30s and, you know, around my age,
Hmm.
who don't really have a lot of stage experience in the UK. Because you don't get that from Meryl Streep or Jeremy Irons. Their stuff isn't choppy when they speak. But when they, you know, but with these younger actors who aren't very method and all that stuff, their line delivery is a little stunted, you know, and we see a lot of that in a few places. Now, with that being said, I am very much looking forward to this movie.
Oh yeah, this is he's been your guy for such a long time. I'm really hoping they do a really good job with him.
Well, I see
And-
him as sort of a cross between the Aquaman from the storyline and the Aquaman from the Brave and the Bold cartoon,
Hmm.
because he's very upbeat, positive, over the top. Like, you can see him going outrageous, you know. Yeah,
Ha
yeah, exactly. You know, and it's Jason Momoa and his jovial, look at me, I'm a surfer dude, and I like having sex and drinking rum.
Yeah.
Which, if I looked like him, yeah. And, you know, they show a lot of his prep for this, and he's like, yeah, I'm doing all this cross training. Now I'm going to go climb a mountain. Now, you're coming home with me. All right, my man. You know, although they made Queen and they made Queen Atlanta kind of look like Daenerys Targaryen a little bit.
There's a little.
Yeah, a little bit. But that whole speech thing, if you check it out here.
You do the best things when you're not thinking at all.
That was the worst pep talk ever.
Always drop in.
See? Well, what I like about this is he's very much like, woo! This place is awesome! So, the James Wan, I think, has been very smart in taking the character, who, well, once they cast Jason Momoa, they very much did okay, he did good as Khal Drogo, what else has he done? And his whole career has been like surfer dudes that have fun because he's a Polynesian surfer.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got that laid back surfer thing and he likes having a good time. So they're like, we're going to make this Aquaman have a good time. You know? And you saw that when we watched the Justice League. And
Yeah.
he's like, dressed like a bat. Dig it. Now I'm just going to swim away in the Arctic. And, yeah, your little club, kind of lame. So, yeah, that's what, I'm out of here, man.
Yeah.
You know? And that one scene that was freaking ruined by Bathos for me, when he's sitting on the Larry of Truth, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of a dick, and you know that guy, and you're kind of clumsy, and you're gonna fall over your own feet. But you, man, I'd be doing stuff to you, and you know, I'm sitting on that rope, huh? Yeah. There's a lot to unpack there, but yeah. I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
you know.
There's I've known over the years there have been lots of gags in various comics and properties using the lasso of truth.
Yeah, of course.
I remember the one you telling me where Batman was threatening to freeze a man's hand and break all his fingers off, and someone's like, "Wow, that was a great bluff," and they're like, point to the fact that Batman is currently wearing the lasso of truth.
Yeah.
That wasn't a bluff. He was serious.
Yeah, that was Batman and Justice.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Written by Jim Kruger. And yeah, I mean, seriously, there's a lot of stuff to go with that. But so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So far, I give this trailer, I give it a full house, but it's mainly 2s and 3s. You know? You know, what are you thinking on it?
I would say that the trailer does do the job of making me very interested in seeing the film. I don't know if I would normally be interested in seeing an Aquaman just because I haven't been happy with what they handled Superman, and Batman has been kind of hit and miss. You know.
That's true.
So some are awesome, some are less so. But actually, I'm really jazzed about this because just from the bits in the trailer I've seen, it looks like that they have like upped their game a little bit, and it looks like it's going to be a fun ride. And hopefully, they'll learn from the Marvel's failures and successes, and bring their own failures and successes, and bring that to the table. But I mean, just seeing him,
and success.
Yeah.
Be honest.
But you know, like I said, the Atlantis looks great. The fights look epic, and him flying the sub to the surface looks like, yeah, okay, it looks like he's going to have some real badass moments. And, you know, worst pep talk ever, he's still going to be a kind of a smart ass who's like, I hate to say this, but keeping it real. You know, not buying into the press of, you are a king of Atlantis. Yeah, whatever, shut up and fight.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you were fighting for the throne. He's like, where I come from, we call that Nazwith. This ain't a trial, you know. I like the fact that it's like he really looks like he's going to be fighting Ocean Master, partly to keep Ocean Master from having the power of Atlantis, but partly because Ocean Master just needs his ass kicked. And I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that idea, because it's like, you were fighting me to stop all this. No, it's just you should have been spanked a lot more as a fucking kid. So I guess I'm gonna get around. It's that blaxploitation lover in me, you know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on.
Okay, next trailer.
To the next trailer.
Okay.
And
so what are you queuing up now? Oh, I see the preview screen there.
so we're gonna see this, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
I'm real curious where they're going to go with this, because if they're going to follow the standard formula or they were going to tweak it and be weird.
No, they're gonna follow the standard formula, but we'll talk about that.
Okay. All right.
You run from foster homes in 6 counties. I can take care of myself.
When you're 18, give these people a chance, because that's what they're giving you.
Now, see, I'm not gonna lie. Right there, that was when they would have lost me 10 years ago. But I'm looking at this, and for those of you guys on SoundCloud, I am gonna say, yeah, I hate to say it, but I gotta say it. We're looking at Shazam. Now, my love
Shazam!
Yes, my love of Shazam is based on Billy Batson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's essentially, I'm Superman, but with magic. But he's a really tragic character, but at the end of the day, he always had one thing going for himself, and they took that away in the New 52. The big thing was, back in the 1930s and 40s and 50s, he was outselling Superman. He was the go-to guy because he's a kid that turns into a superhero and fights bad guys.
Yeah.
And
So you got that wish fulfillment, that power fantasy.
and talk about the freaking identifying with your
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
The thing that got me was that he was an orphan, poor, homeless child that turned into Superman. So it's like he was much like the Legion of Superheroes. You want to talk representation?
Yeah.
You know, hey, poor kids out there. Hey, orphans out there. Hey, homeless kids out there. What would you do if you got superpowers, you know? And one of the things that they didn't really talk about in the New 52 was he looks that way not to look like Superman, but to look like what he imagines his dad would have looked like.
Oh.
Yeah.
So so basically he turns into his idealized father image.
Yeah. So there's a lot to
Oh, there's
unpack
a
with
yeah. I was
Captain
gonna say,
Marvel.
wow,
It's
yeah.
so great. And on top of that, he's still 12. So this whole reputation that Superman has for being this great big Boy Scout,
Mm-hmm.
Superman is a grown man. He is a grown man. He's a good man. He's a damn good man. But he was a good man who was raised by good parents in a good environment, and he went to a moderately okay environment to do good.
Yeah.
Billy Batson is the child that won't lose hope.
Yeah.
So, of course, you know I'm all over that.
Yeah.
I'm all over Shazam. But in the New 52, they turned him to a damn YouTube kid. He's angry. He's distant. You know, in the opening of the trailer right there that we just looked at,
Mhm.
it was the scenes from the New 52 where the foster mom was like, you keep getting kicked out of these foster homes because you have a bad attitude and you won't get all up. And I'm like, when I read that in the New 52 when it first started, I was so mad because Billy is the good kid.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, in one of my favorite story arcs by Mark Waid called Underworld,
Mm-hmm.
the second tier DC bad guys sell their soul to the devil for power upgrades. And when Superman came in to punch his way to save the day, he lost.
Yeah, because they're magic enhanced, and he's weak against magic.
Not just magic enhanced, he wasn't the dude for the job.
Yeah.
The day was saved by Shazam. Billy Batson, the 12-year-old boy with the wisdom of Solomon, which is the S in Shazam, sacrificing himself to save the souls for all the villains. He literally said, don't take their souls to hell, I'll go for them. And that totally busted up the enchantment because a soul willingly sacrificed by someone pure of heart who wants to help burns to the forces of darkness. And I'm just like, yeah, that's a Captain Marvel thing. I mean, he does deal with a whole lot of magic. I mean, the Rock of Eternity is literally a chunk of heaven and a chunk of hell that had been smushed together in limbo, and in the middle of it is Shazam's, is the Wizard Shazam's house.
Yeah, I live here. Why? That's where the forces balance.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, so of course I had
Yeah.
high expectations.
Yeah.
You know, so let's get back to this.
This is Billy Batson. Make sure you make him feel at home.
Is she nice? But don't lie. It gets real Game of Thrones around here. Dude, just mess around. You look at me and you're like, why so dark? You're a disabled foster kid. You've got it all.
Why so dark?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's-
that whoever slipped that bit in there, that was funny. Why so dark?
Yeah, why so dark? I mean, you're a disabled poor orphan kid. You've got it all, right? You know. And that's kind of And that right there, that's Freddie Freeman, believe it or not, and he's really important in the comics, because eventually Shazam gets a family, and he gives superpowers to his adopted sister, who turns out to be his biological sister, and his adopted brother, who has cerebral palsy and walks with crutches.
Oh.
And they become the Captain Marvel family. And Mary Marvel is awesome. She is seriously awesome. But yeah, that's Freddie Freeman, which is cool. But what they just showed on screen, that's more like Billy Batson from the comic books pre-52, because he was a good kid and his life was crap, but he actually inspired a lot of things from other superhero comic books. Like, he had a day job as a news reporter, a radio news reporter, reporting on the exploits of Captain Marvel. Sound familiar? You know, but he lived alone. He lived in squat houses, and like, he fed rats with his Cheetos type thing. I mean, that was the guy he was. But of course, they had to make it more modern so kids these days could identify.
Yeah, but they did that at the comic book level.
Yes, they did that. At
Yeah,
the
because that's what.
comic level in the
Okay,
New 52.
New 52. So, all right. So they stuck to the form. They stuck to the formula, but that's only because Marvel has already modified him and made him edgy and relatable.
No, DC.
DC, sorry.
DC did. I know his name was Captain Marvel. That is an episode in and of itself.
Yeah, like I'm going to warn people at home right now. I'm going to make that mistake a lot, because when we say Captain Marvel, I'm just going to automatically associate him with Marvel.
That's why they changed his name to Shazam.
Shazam. Yeah.
You know, it's yeah. So, nerd brag. Shazam is an anagram for what and where he gets his powers from. He has the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the endurance of Achilles, the power of Zeus, the endurance of Atlas, and the speed of Mercury.
Oh, hey.
Shazam. And his entire job is to protect the world from the 7 deadly sins, who are anthropomorphic. He was supposed to be the main character in Full Metal Alchemist, essentially.
Oh, hey, then.
Yeah, so... But again, let's get back to this whole trailer thing.
I want to see that epic fight between him and Sloth, but, you know, they'll get around to it eventually.
What would you think?
He has a...
Everybody chooses flight. You know why?
So they can fly away from this conversation.
No, because heroes fly.
What, you need your fake family to stand up for you? Hey.
Yeah, he's...
They are literally beating a cripple kid?
Yes, they're literally beating up on...
Sorry. We have to make the villains so hateable that the hero is justified in kicking their ass.
Right?
So, yeah. Because otherwise, he wouldn't be a good person and he wouldn't be the hero.
Yeah, because they kind of turned him into a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's continue to watch that. But yeah, like,
your fake family, and it's like, oh, motherfucker. So,
it's like, seriously, kid, what is your damage?
Man, sorry about that. Go! Grab it! Get out of the way!
so yeah, and the kid's got to run. And he's like, I'm gonna just hop on the train. Haha.
I choose you as king.
I really like that he grabs him from the train.
Yeah.
Because that actually resonates supernaturally. Because boats and trains are conveyances from one world to another.
Oh, you caught
so
that.
yeah, they're the thin places.
Yeah, that's one of the things, and that's honestly one of the things that a lot of good writers in the comics have picked up on over the years. Like, Shazam are the adventures of Superman, but it's not technological villains all the time. Like, his number one bad guy is Dr. Sivana, but who is mad scientist, almost like Lex Luthor, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
And his secondary bad guy is Black Adam. Hopefully, The Rock will be playing him, who had his job back in ancient Egypt and will not get rid of the power. Because if he does, he'll age and he'll die. So he's the Doctor Doom of the DC universe, because he is a tyrannical, he is a monolithic tyrant of his own country in the Middle East that runs very well and stays out of world affairs. But don't cross his land.
Yeah.
Because you'll have a Doctor Doom type person who's as powerful as Superman, who does not have Western morals.
Yeah.
You know, so I told him, get off my lawn.
Yeah, yeah, and it plays to the theme of power corrupts, and that's part of the reason why you need a Billy who is so pure of heart. It's again that Hobbit thing. They have to have someone who can bear the responsibility of so much without being horribly changed by it.
Exactly. So, yeah, let's get back to this.
Hello?
Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
But I don't know your name, sir.
Shazam.
Are you for real? Say it again! Shazam?
That part hit me kind of personally.
I'm sorry. Say my name. Are you punking me?
Yeah, and you know what? That part actually hit me personally.
Yeah.
Because so many times, yes, my name is Solar. Or you can say it. Yes, my name is Solar. It's like mother. I will. Okay. Your name is Solar. Okay, your name is Solar. That's fine. I'm like, you don't like it, you can call me Saul, but still, So yeah, that part kind of hit me. But it's like, I'm gonna be a teenager, boy. Okay. So yeah, let's get back to this.
This means Billy! What's happening? You're the only person I know that knows anything about this Cape Crusader stuff. Can I? That's crazy, right?
What are superpowers?
Superpowers, dude, I don't even know how to pee in this thing.
You have super strength. Can you fly?
If I quit the real, I still rock with sales. If I quit this season, I still be on next.
You okay? Why are you talking?
Be humble. Sit down.
I don't think that's gonna buff out.
Your phone's charged. Your phone's charged.
What the hell?
You have bullet immunity.
I'm bulletproof.
You're dead.
Sorry about your window, but you're welcome for not getting robbed. Oh, hey, sup, I'm a superhero.
Sup, I'm a superhero.
Now I'm not gonna lie.
That looks fun.
Yeah, that actually, this dude they got to play Captain Marvel. I didn't do the research for his name or anything, but what I am going to say is this. He is almost exactly what we needed Henry Cavill to be for Superman. Because, I mean, am I wrong? I mean,
Yeah.
This dude is like, yeah, all right, that's kind of cool. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. Yeah.
He's like, do you have superpowers? I don't know how to pee in this thing. I like that line.
Yeah, that's actually a good flashback to the Christian Bale, Ben Affleck conversation. No, seriously,
Yeah.
seriously. Ben Affleck was like, no, who was it? When one of the dudes playing Batman, it was either Affleck or Bale. They called up one of the older Batmans. I think it was either Michael Keaton or George Clooney, and it was, do you have any advice for me playing this role? And they said, yeah, make sure you can go to the bathroom in the goddamn suit. Because if you look back at like Michael Keaton,
Yeah.
he couldn't move his neck, let alone pee. He was just
Yeah, he's like welded into that thing.
exactly. So that whole I don't even know how to pee in this thing. That was a nice little end callback. But one of the things I do like is that people keep going, DC is too dark, DC is too dark, DC is too dark, and I actually agree.
Yeah.
Okay, because as much as I love his work, Zack Snyder does not respect heroism.
Yeah.
He respects action, but he doesn't respect heroism. And so you get a director like Patty Jenkins who loves heroes and loves the material, and you get Wonder Woman. You get this guy in here, and it's like he respects heroes, and he must have a kid, because even in the source material and looking at this, it's like, you know what? This isn't what I think a 12-year-old would do if they got superpowers. And this was actually where the New 52 kind of started turning me around on this. It really was what I would have done at 12 years old if I had gotten that kind of power. From the not knowing what superpowers I had, to, dude, oh my god, I'm bulletproof. I'm gonna hurt you. You know.
Yeah. Well, also if you know, it looks like it's going to be a buddy film. Him and his foster brother, and figuring out how to be, you know, Shazam. And then it also looks like it's playing into that original concept of the, you know, the power fantasy wish fulfillment of, well, what would you do if you had superpowers?
Right.
You know, they even have the conversation apparently. You know, before he gets the powers, they have the conversation. What powers would you have? And we haven't done it back in high school. We all had that conversation, at least me and my friends. Like, well, if you could have a superpower, what power would you want?
High school?
Yeah.
Shit, I had that conversation like yesterday.
Well, yeah, you were at Comic-Con, though.
Okay, I had that conversation with you like a month ago.
Hey, did we?
Yeah.
Oh. Because I always knew what powers I wanted. I wanted two.
Which ones?
Telekinesis and clairvoyance.
Yeah, that's
clairvoyance is the ability to see things beyond seeing. That's not Talking Dead. That's a medium. Because then, you know, you get those are the two you win. Because you can have all the other powers if you have those powers.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And, oh, no, I had this with Matera last Saturday. Because it was like, yeah, and I'm like, I'm either thinking mind control, not telekinesis, but teleportation. But let's face it, magic. Thank you. Because magic, you have all the powers.
Yeah, but at a horrible price.
Yes. Thank you. Because those powers shouldn't come for free. They actually kind of made that a point in Stormwatch, where you have Jenny Quantum, the spirit of the age of the 21st century, who essentially all of the universes will bend to her will as far as the fundamental makeup of what they are for the next 100 years. What happens when she gets her first menstrual cycle? Or when a boy breaks her heart for the first time? Because again, when they showed in the old Wildstorm stuff, which this stuff is based on, when Jenny Sparks, the spirit of the 20th century, got depressed, the global economy fell to zero and American unemployment went to 14%. When she was in a bad mood, the world went to war. So she only lost her shit twice. Once when she was 14, and once when she was 45. You know, so with the new quantum age being here, what's that little girl gonna be like? Ha 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 ha. So yeah, I want consequences. I want consequences for that kind of stuff, because you know that's an important thing. So honestly, though, I gotta say, I give this trailer a full house. I am so looking forward to seeing Shazam, because it looks like, hey, we're making this for kids. You adult fanboys, shut your mouth, because there's only 20 of you. And this looks like DC Comics is finally going, okay, we tried to make our comics edgy. It didn't quite work. That's why we have Rebirth. But we can make our movies a little lighter. Like,
yeah,
you know. So here's a movie about a 12-year-old boy who's a poor orphan and his disabled adopted brother. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're using Dr. Savannah instead of Black Adam. So I'm really going to look forward to seeing how Dr. Savannah is essentially a super scientist that makes giant robots, but he also goes around the world hunting magical artifacts. And he's specifically looking for the Rock of Eternity. So that's going to be kind of cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. What about you?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be fun. I mean, if I was to pigeonhole this, I would say it's the Marvel family-friendly equivalent of Deadpool, in that Deadpool is off to the side. DC's equivalent.
Okay.
Because, you know, Deadpool's off to, actually more like their Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, all right. I was about to say, because DC's Deadpool is named Deathstroke the Terminator, what I'm saying is they've got this kind of lighter, kind of comedic film that's over here that isn't part of their, you know, core story launch. Yeah.
And then they'll bring him in later, but you know, it's kind of more fun, a little lighter, not so dark. And I will piss myself if at some point he makes some sort of Batman joke. You think I should talk like this?
They're probably doing that. So yeah, what I'm gonna say now is yeah, we got one more trailer
Okay.
to look at, and then we'll get out of here because I'm already tired.
Yeah.
I woke up tired. And this one I'm kind of looking forward to, but again, we'll talk about that afterwards.
All right. So which?
Our world is changing. The mass
Oh, yeah.
fear has already begun.
I'm like Stranger Things season 2.
We are the cause. We are the infection.
She's like, damn it, I can't. It's like Millie Bobby Brown was looking at that and the smoke coming, like, oh my God, they're all the Stranger Things fans. They're waiting for me to turn 18. Fuck! You know, I mean, that's what I saw. I don't know about you. Yeah. So yeah, let's go back to that.
Of all living organisms, the Earth unleashed a fever to fight this infection. Its original and rightful rulers, the Titans. For thousands of years, these creatures have remained in hiding around the world. And unless all the Titans are found, our planet will perish, and so will we. They are the only guarantee that life will carry on.
And see, right there, in that shot, that was where I lost it when I first saw that. I'm like, okay, it's Millie Bobby Brown, and is this Stranger Things season 3? No, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, it looks okay. But when that happened, I'm like, I know the shape of that. Oh my God, she's controlling Gamera! that was where I said, because Gamera is love.
Friend of children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Gamera's friend of children.
So yeah, I kind of lost it.
Nope, we're not.
Ah!
Oh yeah, that's my guy.
Will carry on.
Mothra. Rodan.
Your goddamn mind. I'm sorry, but this is the only way.
You're a monster. I'm sorry.
King Ghidorah.
Long live the king.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
seriously, that's
Yeah, I'm gonna be down for that because you know me, I love the kaiju.
yeah.
But fun fact: King Ghidorah, always a bad guy. Because if you haven't followed the kaiju movies, they kind of get kind of professional wrestler-like in the storylines, in that there's team-ups and there's rivalries, and sometimes they're good guys and sometimes they're bad guys.
And King Kaiju is
Eh,
most definitely
yeah.
a heel.
And King Ghidorah is always a bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I got this ticking happening somewhere down here. But yeah, I mean. Oh.
It was the fan. I think it was blowing against something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that works.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, that was. I'm really, I'm looking forward.
Because I saw the trailer, because I was watching this, I'm thinking, is this Stranger Things thing? Well, this does not jibe with the Starcourt Mall teaser that they put out. Because have you seen that? They did a teaser for season 3 of Stranger Things,
Okay.
and it's an ad for the Starcourt Mall.
All right.
And it's just a mall ad. I mean, there's nothing insidious, nothing. It's just, but they nailed the 80s, like, it's state of the art food court, and everyone they nailed that 80s vibe perfectly.
That's cool. That's
And
very cool.
so I saw that and I'm like, that doesn't mesh. Well, there's a reason why. It's not Stranger Things 3. It's
Yeah.
King of Monsters.
So yeah, and I was
Nice.
like, oh, yeah, I thought it was Stranger Things because that's
Yeah, because you saw the actress. Yeah. Plus, they were being kind of creepy and supernatural in the beginning with the fog and everything.
And
It's I have a feeling that whoever put that trailer together
They knew.
did that on purpose. They were trying to tap into that
yeah,
audience.
yeah, that was, being like I'm not as into the kaiju as you are.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing like pretty much most of the adult men in this have freaking their catchphrases, and you've got like Ken Watanabe, "Let them fight." No, let them fight. I mean that was pretty much all part one was to me. Let them fight. You have to let them fight. Let them fight. No, let them fight. But now you got Charles Dance. Long live the king. That is what I am. I'm Charles Dance. I say something noble. But you know what? You'll always be my good brother, Numsy. I know you, Numsy. I know you. He will be Jarl, and he will always talk to Mr. Jarl like that. Now, my girlfriend, yeah, every time Charles Dance is on anything, she like splooshes. Freaking Last Action Hero came out, and she's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, yeah, okay, but So there we are. Long live the king. I'm Tywin Lannister, and I've been Tywin Lannister since I was 4. As I can see him. Mother, I would like my bottle. I'm aware, but I don't like peas. That's yeah, so that really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the big trailers.
Those are the trailers, and
So have you seen? I hate to bring this up, but I thought you would have saw it because I thought that was going to be one of the trailers. You were going to get your reaction to it. Have you seen the Teen Titan trailer?
we're gonna talk about that either tomorrow or later on this week.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because that deserves to be addressed.
Yeah, but I need to talk about it with someone who's a little more comic booky.
Oh yeah,
than you
yeah.
are. Just
I
a
had
little
a
more
20-minute conversation with my roommate about that, and
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I bet Big
Oh.
Ron was pissed.
oh, he was not happy. Needless to say. So,
yeah, I thought about bringing up, but
that's good because it's
Yeah.
good. So you guys tune in for the.
you gotta make sure you're on camera.
Oh, sorry. So guys, be sure to
Tune in
tune
for Table Talk.
turn in for Table Talk because that's going to be quite a discussion, and
Oh.
you should tune in and chat because you can add in your opinions. It'll be a lively debate.
Oh, not a debate. It's gonna be
Discussion?
It's gonna be me and DW.
Just ranting.
Well, this is like the post Comic Con thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be Thursday at noon. I wish you could be here, but yeah, because we're gonna talk about that quite a bit. Because we were talking about it there, and we're also gonna be talking about the trailer to the new Harry Potter movie.
Wait, there's a new Harry Potter movie?
Oh yeah.
How can there be a new Harry Potter movie?
Did you not see Extraordinary Beasts and Where to Find Them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets a sequel. We're
Oh.
into the Harry Potter prequel.
Well, it's Harry Potter. Well, yeah, but it's Harry Potter. It's but I thought you meant like actual you're 45 at Hogwarts.
Not quite, but I think there is some discussion about doing Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. So
Okay, I could see. I haven't actually read it, but
it's grown up Harry.
Okay.
It's Harry kind of going. Moment I think I'm out. Pull
Roll me back in.
Hoo-ha! Yeah, so I mean, seriously, that's some stuff. See, now
Oh,
we're
cool.
kind of getting our stride, but
Yeah.
it's still tiny.
Yep.
Yeah, it's still tiny. So,
Alrighty.
but what would you give that? What would you give that one?
Oh, I give that a solid four of a kind. It really, really hit my nostalgia button, which makes me want to go, oh, Full House! But I realize it is not a genre for everyone.
Right.
Giant monster movies stamping on Tokyo and LA and other countries is not for everyone. So, yeah, I kind of curb my enthusiasm a little bit on that one. But yeah, no, that trailer looks very exciting. I'm interested to see the storyline because they're bringing in a lot. They're bringing all the heavy hitters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot to unpack in like 2 hours.
That's true.
Because they're hitting, something like 100 hours of various monster movies all compressed into one. So, might be kind of hard to get everyone's backstory and get a plot that just doesn't feel like you're just running through it at a breakneck speed.
That's true. I am concerned. I'm not gonna lie. I'm concerned
Mm-hmm.
with this particular one. For the same reason that I was concerned. Well, I'm afraid that what's gonna happen with this one,
Mm-hmm.
or what happened with the last one, will happen with this one, and that is gonna be like I'm really, really concerned that they promise us awesome kaiju action, and then they only give it to us in one scene, and they go, "The kaiju are about to fight. Look at all that stuff," and close the door. We're going over here. Let's just go over there. That pissed me off about the last Godzilla movie, and I know it's got the same cast and all that stuff, so I know it's the same world. This is very much a sequel, but yeah, I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong. When they finally showed Godzilla, when Godzilla was like, "No, headlock, head punch." Open up your mouth and I'm going to do my atomic breath into your body. I'm like, yeah! Yeah! But I wanted to see the other fights too.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see the other fights. So I'm giving this one a 3 of a kind.
Mhm.
This is a 3 of a kind. Not a full house for me. Not a full house. Only because I see Ken Watanabe. I see Millie Bobby Brown. I see Charles Dance. And I see them going, people like you for this. So I'm going to include in the trailer you doing what we know people like you for, which doesn't really it doesn't feel to me like they're letting the movie kind of speak for itself, because it's like, you know, the trailer is telling me we're about giant monsters fighting, but here are the stars you like, huh? And I'm like, just show Pacific Rim 1 gave me fights with monsters and robots. And it didn't really show me, well, it succeeded in the fact that as much as I love Charlie Hunnam, he can't carry a motion picture. He's a TV guy. So they couldn't show us much Charlie Hunnam. So they showed us a lot of monsters fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, we've got amazing actors. Damn it. But I want to see the monster fight. I want to see a lot of... You're bringing out Rodan, King Ghidorah, Gamera, Mothra, you know, and Godzilla? Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be a kaiju throwdown. Like we want to see some guys in some rubber suits smashing up cardboard buildings.
Yeah. Exactly.
And no, what we're gonna see is shadows in ice and shadows in stone, and 30 seconds of CG, and then the fight's over there,
Yeah, exactly.
hidden by smoke.
Oh man. So, but yeah. So sorry
And-
we went a little bit over. Didn't want to do a 2-hour show, but just skip past
The first 15
the first
minutes.
half hour.
Yeah.
You know, and again, sorry for losing it earlier today, guys. It's just I'm doing my best here. But yeah, so but we got off to a better, you know, we hit our stride, and that was all cool. So a few more announcements. We're going to be at LostCon, the Los Angeles Science Fiction Convention, hooking up with those guys and really trying to get some more showcases of, you know, people of color, women, LGBT, the disabled, and the poor in the science fiction community, because, you know, we marginalized people do love us some sci-fi. We really do. So we're going to be there hanging with those people. And again, I definitely want to thank you guys for sticking in through our technical difficulties. Most of this stuff is happening, as the henchman was telling you, is because we've got crap gear. We really do. We're doing the best we can, but we're saving up for some better gear, and it's just thing after thing. So if you guys want to help us out with that, there's a link to our GoFundMe in the description below. Also a link to the charity stuff that we're doing, which is if you've got extra role-playing books and stuff like that, you can donate them to the penitentiary system. Your hardcovers, please remove the hard parts, because they can't have those in there for shank reasons. But yeah, your old role-playing books, your comic books, we're going to be taking those in as well once we really start the community center work with the gaming clubs and the comic clubs. So, you know, we're out there to let our voices, like, you know, the people of color, women, LGBT, the disabled, the poor, we're out here to put our voices out there so that people who say, oh, they're race baiting, those guys, they can shut up. This is our forum. This is our voice. and here we will be heard, or they don't get to talk. So that's where we're sitting. But in the meantime, I want to thank you for showing up, Mr. Henchman.
Oh, glad to be here.
You know, and
Yeah.
thanks for holding it down. Thanks for holding it down, you know. Oh man. But yeah, so with that, I'm gonna say I hope you guys liked the show once we got going, but like I was saying, I'm exhausted and I'm in pain, and I have to recover from all the magic slinging this weekend. But hopefully we'll be here tomorrow. I gotta get a hold of my Tuesday guy. But if you guys really want to like yell at us about the sound quality and all that stuff, cool, you know, helps keep us on our toes. And if you want to help, or if you want to keep helping us stay on our toes, then feel free to hit us up at back in the deck at gmail.com. You can also find us over at YouTube, and thank you guys for watching us stuff here on YouTube. Yeah, there's our music. Yeah, that's some good stuff. Yeah, look at us at backinthedeck at gmail.com. You can also look us up on YouTube/BitP. That's little b, little I, little d, space p. Follow us on the Twitter, because that's where we're going to be making all of our announcements and stuff like that. And that's Twitter at backinthedeck. Join the Deckers on the Book group on Facebook to find out what the other Deckers are up to, like all of the 3D printing stuff, the laser printing stuff, the model making, the painting stuff, and all the stuff that we're building left, right, and sideways. Now, for those of you guys that are like us and are stuck in traffic, say from San Diego to Southern California, leaving at San Diego to Long Beach, leaving the gas station at 10 after 11, after being up for 4 days, then listen to us on SoundCloud at SoundCloud/BitP. That's little b, little I, little d, underscore p. YouTube is space, SoundCloud is underscore. And follow us on Instagram for a lot of the stuff that we're doing. For those of you guys know, my name is not Negan. And that is Instagram/backinthedeck. And I would definitely want to say, if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like or do what you do because of the circumstances of your birth, be it your race, religion, creed is a real big one, not just a pseudo-Christian rock band, sexual orientation, gender identity, or budget, just know that your voice matters, and you tell them to take that card and put it back in the deck. This is Solar Grey, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying we will see you guys tomorrow. But so far, the Henchman will see you next week on Buster Recap. This is Solar Grey, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thanks for tuning in.
Night, everybody.